measurement here in the lab, we treat the ink on the page like, well, like poured concrete. The run is done, the macroscopic data is logged, and we just move on.
Right, but if we rigorously apply universal quantum mechanics, I mean, that logbook is just another physical many-body system, so our so-called concrete records are actually highly entangled quantum states.
Yeah, which brings us to today. Welcome to today's internal deep dive, colleague. We're looking at Orion in Theoretical Division's internal memorandum TH071, revision 2.1 from November 1996.
An absolute classic in the division.
Our mission here is to rigorously analyze the linear
Thank you, Dr. Weinberg, and thank you all very much. And welcome to the White House. It's a great pleasure to have so many present and future scientific pioneers in the Rose Garden with us today. Along with members of Congress and the administration, we have no fewer than 4 Nobel laureates in the audience, as well as many of the top science students from the Department of Energy Science Honors Program. I'm tempted to paraphrase an earlier president who once said, "There's never before been so much talent assembled in one place in the White House since I hosted the Washington Redskins on the South Lawn last month." The reason we're here, of course, is to talk about the
the exact physical state of registered information relative to an external observer who hasn't accessed it yet.
And that is exactly the distinction we have to make to get the math right.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We start with a standard von Neumann pre-measurement, right? The quantum system state Keter sub I and the apparatus ready state Keter sub 0 unitarily evolve to the entangled state, Keter sub I, Keter sub I.
Right, the initial entanglement. But then it cascades. The detector clicks, the notebook logs it, the scientist's brain registers it, generating an arbitrarily long entanglement chain.
Right, the sum over I of C sub I, Keter sub I, Keter prime sub I, and so on.
Exactly, and that cascade forces us to distinguish between 2 completely distinct scenarios for an external observer, let's call them W, who hasn't looked at the chain yet. So case A is pure classical ignorance.
Where W just doesn't know the outcome, so they model the record as a standard classical statistical mixture row submix.
Yeah, exactly. But case B is what the memo calls an information superposition. Because the global state remains perfectly pure under unitary evolution, the reduced density matrix, whole subred of the macroscopic record, retains non-zero off-diagonal elements.
Because we trace out the environment, right?
Yes. Those off-diagonal elements are strictly proportional to the traced-out overlaps.
Okay, wait, let me push back on that concept. Operationally speaking, does this information superposition actually matter? I mean, if I just look at the notebook, I see a definite result either way.
I mean, visually, sure, but mathematically, there is a profound physical difference.
Are you saying...
And today, new frontiers beckon. New discoveries await. New progress lies before us. And our adventure is not to sail the open ocean, but rather to go to the edge of the universe and see the birth of space and of time. Our vessel is not called Santa Maria, but human imagination is still our compass, and human ingenuity and yearning for progress our only power. And to those who would sacrifice tomorrow for today, I say trust in America's future. Trust in America's incredible capacity for renewal and innovation. And trust in the spirit that is here today. For ours is an eternal voyage to greatness, and each and every one of you is a part of that voyage.
Totality of environmental decoherence, which the memo tracks using a coherence parameter called gamma.
Ah, the gamma parameter.
Yeah, gamma basically functions as a physical dial for quantumness. At 1, you have a fully reversible information superposition. At 0, it's a locked-in classical fact, and the memo derives exactly how fast gamma decays.
With lambda subdeck is the decoherence rate, right? Gamma of t equals gamma of 0 times the exponential of negative lambda subdeck times t.
You got it. And the underlying mechanism is relentless. Every single thermophoton or stray gas molecule that scatters off our notebook physically carries away which configuration information into the wider environment.
Well, That leakage strictly suppresses the quantum overlap, driving gamma to zero exponentially fast. And here's where it gets really interesting. When you look at the actual coherence lifetimes calculated in the memo, the timescales are just staggering.
Oh, they're completely mind-boggling.
For a single printed character to decohere via ambient thermal photons, it takes about 10 to the negative 20 seconds. For an entire macroscopic Wigner-type laboratory, about 10 to the negative 26 seconds.
The environment is continuously interrogating the apparatus, vastly faster than we ever could.
So framing this as an engineering limit, to maintain a gamma of roughly 1 for just a single second, we'll need to isolate our apparatus 10 to the 20th times better than our current best technology.
But the memo resolves this beautifully with the consistency theorem.
How does that work mathematically?
Well, imagine observers F and W holding records descending from the exact same initial pre-measurement chain. When they interact to compare notes, that interaction is itself a unitary quantum channel.
Okay, I follow.
The mathematics of that unitarity guarantees that the probability amplitude for any disagreeing configuration evaluates to identically zero across every single branch of the wave function.
So what does this all mean? It means the relativity of facts is entirely self-concealing. It's like two separate modules of code running in a simulation.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
The underlying master architecture, the unitarity, ensures that when those modules finally sync up, their outputs match perfectly. The very act of comparing notes dynamically scrubs away the observer relativity that existed just moments prior.
Yes, unitarity force is conquered. So the takeaway for our applied work here at REM is clear. We can safely treat registered information as purely classical.
Because the theoretical quantum departure is instantly hidden by both hyperfast environmental decoherence and this unitary agreement.
Precisely. We don't have to worry about it in the day-to-day.
So the macroscopic notebook really does act like pure concrete, even if the deep physics proves its technical rave. But I'll leave you, our colleague, with this final thought to mull over today.
Oh, this is the best part.
Since the consistency theorem strictly requires that both observers' records descend
The flames may be out, but a firestorm of controversy rages on after the assault on the Branch Davidian compound. Officials are starting to look for answers after doomsday in Waco. This morning, investigators began sifting through the embers of the Waco compound, searching for the bodies.
At the request of the Fort Hood Police Department. Massive meteors are striking the area of Fort Hood. This is a dangerous situation.